Are you ready for change?
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
We'd like to welcome you to the Mr. Change Agent podcast with your host, Ron Ovitt, founder and director of Empower Ministry. Today we're talking about picking your team. Last time, just for a review, Ron, we were talking about habits and the whole thing is how to get out of some bad habits. But interestingly enough, you were talking about developing new habits. Could you repeat a little bit of that, and then let's get into picking your team?
Sure. We were talking about the fact that, you need to, first of all, choose what is the habit you're trying to change. It's hard changing habits. And sometimes we get too general. We say, well, gee, I've got to get healthier. Well, that's nice, but let's get more specific. What's going to get you healthier? So, it might be 2 or 3 that you need to pick. I need to get more sleep. I need to exercise 3 times a week, and I need to cut out sugar and carbs. Now, any one of those would be a hard habit to break. But yet you need to work on all of them. So that's the first thing we said. Then we said, got to watch out for secondary habits. Let's say that you pick the one with the sugar and carbs, but yet every day, one of your secondary habits is that you can count on it at 10 o'clock. You and your friends go out downstairs to the dining area at work and have some pastries, And so you need to figure out, okay, what are you going to do with that habit? I think you had mentioned, well, what about drinking? You're going out with friends all the time on every Friday night or something. Well, those are the things you got to look at as well.
So are you saying don't go have the pastries? Maybe what would be better? I guess you have to assess it. Do you want to offend your friends you go with every day, or do you start picking a different food to eat?
Right, yeah, you can substitute. We're going to talk about, in fact, that's today's topic, is picking your team, so we can talk about that in a minute. But let's answer your specific question. I think substitution, I'd say 80% of the time is something. Sometimes you just got to cut out something. But when I cut out caffeine, for example, I didn't stop drinking beverages. I picked beverages that were non-caffeine. You got to be careful with things like pastries, because you don't want to look like you're better than someone, that you're judging someone else, or they get into their guilt, and they feel, bad. You just say, hey, I brought my own treats today. And there's a lot of things. When I cut out sugar and carbs, there's a lot of substitutes out there that you can get that are low carb and that have low sugar. And so you can be diplomatic and not offend people for the most part.
Okay, so let's talk about picking your team. What is a team? What do you mean, pick a team?
Well, a lot of times we try to do these things by ourselves, and the fact is we don't live by ourselves. Unless there's some other issues going on, we usually live with a family, or we live with other people. We work with other people. We have a fellowship at church, or maybe it's some kind of civic club. And so we're around other people. And so what we need to do is we need to pick a team. Now, not everybody in the world needs to know that you're going to stop sugar or carbs, let's say, or you're going to stop caffeine, or that you're going to start exercising. So it's not everybody's business, but there would be nice if you had some people. So there's usually 3 groups of people you can look at. First group is those that will support you and encourage you. And, of course, you want them on your team, someone that you can confide in, that will encourage you, be a cheerleader for you, help you as much as they can. Then there's, second, those, for whatever reason, they'll hinder you. They themselves are a trigger. They'll discourage you, maybe ridicule you, and it's not because they're mean. It's just a lot of dynamics set up when you're trying to change something. And then the third is that there's those in between. So those are the 3 basic groups.
Okay, let's look at these groups again. Let's see what you can do here. Okay, you want to change this habit, or you want to break a habit, you want to change something in your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. It might involve friends, it might not. Does it help to get someone that can be an advocate with you, someone that can be on your side?
Sure. That's the first group. Group number 1. You want to get the team. You want to get support people that will encourage you. So you want supporters. You want people that, hey, you feel good about it. You say, listen, I'm going to start exercising, and So, I'd appreciate it if you'd hold me accountable or encourage me, or, hey, I'm going to be running a 5K here. My goal is a 5K in 3 months. Could you be one of my cheerleaders or something? And, you talk to them, and so they don't discourage you. They're encouraging. Or if they know that you're going to cut out some sugar, well, who knows? They may join you so you can encourage each other. Or they just may say, hey, I found this the other day. It's a sugar-free recipe. And so they can help you. So that's your first group. You do want to get some people that will encourage you and help you.
Okay, I get that. And I hope all of us can find friends that help us along the way. But, we always run into those Debbie Downers, those naysayers, and some that even aggressively want to stop you, or I don't know. All of a sudden they're mad at you because you're trying to do something. I mean, how do you handle that?
That's a good question, and it's hard. I know when I was trained in counseling and that we talked about a family system, and in family systems training they talk about everyone in the family has a script. And so it's like you're in a play, and so there's goody two-shoes, the one sibling, there's the black sheep, or the one that's the rebel, right? And that's the one you're counseling. Then there's father who's absent, he's kind of not with, and there's mother who's crying and all worried and all upset about it, right? And so you come in, you're working with the rebel, and they're starting to comply. They're starting to change. They've seen the light. And so now they sit down, and all of a sudden the script comes, and they're starting to talk about, hey, I'm really going to try hard in school and blah, blah. And you think everyone would be happy. Well, the goody two-shoes is getting all the limelight before, and they'll come along and mock them and sabotage or whatever. And of course, Dad, he doesn't know what to do now. He's going to help you with the homework. He's not involved. The mother, now she hasn't got nothing to complain about, and she had found her meaning in that. Now I know that's simplistic, okay, and I'm generalizing, but you'll be amazed at how many times we work with someone and then they get sabotaged by the people that should love them the most. All kinds of dynamics going on. So it does happen. And so what you got to do sometimes, you've got to draw a line in the sand. Now, you can't move out of your house, right? But what you can do is quit talking about it, just do it. And don't get them involved, and grow some thicker skin. Try to figure out why they're doing it. Don't get so upset over it. Know that you're not going to get encouragement. It happens. Know that you might get mocked. So what? You gotta go into it and say, listen, this goal is important to me. And you do it outside the home or outside the thing. You just don't bring it up. You only need a window of time. I mean, once you develop a habit and it becomes strong, they'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. But you got to get through those first couple of weeks. That's the hardest. And so don't be so shocked and surprised if someone mocks you in that. Just know who to avoid.
Okay, that's good stuff. And you talked about the family, those that are close. But how about others on the team? Are there some maybe unexpected people that could join, or some avenues we can look at that maybe the listeners just wouldn't automatically go for?
Sure. And here again, those are people at work, people that you might see that you can solicit. They're kind of on the fence. But there's also other groups. There's support groups. You'll be surprised how many support groups there are out there. For all kinds of things, and of course, weight loss is a huge issue in the country, and there's all kinds of groups that you can join that hold you accountable, that give you rewards in a sense when you accomplish your weekly goal. People that have been there before, they give you understanding and, empathy. They know some of the problems that you have. You can ask them questions. You can even go deeper. A lot of groups have sponsors or mentors or a coach. You can find someone that's done it before and get their advice. There's online coaching. There's meetings you can go to locally. You can do a lot of things through reading books and stuff like that. So there are those people and sponsors, mentors. You need someone that's been there before, that you can call when it's tough, that you can tell that you slipped, and you're not embarrassed to tell them. They've been there. They know it. A lot of these things take, 3, 4, 5 tries. I mean, let's not fool ourselves. And maintenance, my goodness, sooner or later you got to figure it out. There's sometimes when you're definitely going to eat that Hostess Twinkie, and your life doesn't stop. You said, okay, I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to, I don't need to do that. And I get back on the horse and go down the road. So, so there are others. There's sponsors, there's groups you can go to, support groups that will help you as well.
All right, you've been listening to Mr. Change Agent Podcast with your host, Ron Ovitt, founder and director of Empower Ministry. Ron, before we go, just tell people how they can get more information and get hold of you.
Right. They can contact us at www.empowerforliving.com. In fact, anyone that's listening, we're offering a Overcoming Triggers ebook. So you can go to www.empowerforliving.com/trigger and get our free e-booklet on overcoming triggers. They can also go to our YouTube channel, Mr. Change Agent YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, put in Mr. Change Agent. They'll see a picture of me there, and click on that, and they'll take them to our YouTube channels as well.
That address again is empowerforliving.com/trigger for that free ebook. You've been listening to Mr. Change Agent Podcast with your host, Ron Ovitt.